Hey there guys, trying a new type of video today, so yeah, I figured I'd weigh in on this subject I've seen cropping up on several different popular YouTubers' channels. Basically, there's a game called Cuphead come out recently, and if you're into games, you've probably fucking heard of it. And basically it's getting a lot of criticism and positive reviews, that sort of thing, it's getting a lot of feedback for its difficulty, which I can understand. The upfront difficulty of it is a lot higher than most video games that come out now, but to me, I'm primarily a retro player, and that's not because I've got anything against modern games. Mainly, I just don't like the idea of paying 50 quid for a game when, if I stay behind a generation or two, they're a pound, I'm pretty fucking broke, so playing video games on the cheap appeals to me quite strongly, so I'm always a bit behind. But, yeah, with my experience with what modern games I've played, and I mainly mean first-person shooters, because they're like the popular ones, so I just go through, I buy whichever ones are like that, like your Halos, your Gears of Wars, that sort of thing. I've tried them out, and yeah, to compare them to something like Cuphead, Gears of War fucking carries you to the end of the game. I remember recently when I was playing it with my cousin, and he's probably watching, hi if you are, but yeah, and he said, this is really hard, I can't remember how to duck behind the wall, and I had to stop playing, because basically, if you play Gears of War, you know that every time, for the entire game, not just the tutorial level or something like that, that I would expect, for the whole game, every time you have to do anything, like pick up ammo, or, hide behind the wall all the time, says it all really, that sort of game mechanic, and it's good, but yeah, you can criticize it for making it easy or whatever, but it's besides the point. My point was, every time, for the entire of the video game, it tells you exactly what to do. So the idea that doing something like that is difficult to anyone, just to me, I found it really funny. And that sounds cruel, I don't mean it like that, but basically, when I hear this argument that, modern games are too easy, a lot of the time to me, it just sounds like when you get people from like older generations that just, music today is shit because, back in the day, I had this, and it's normally baseless, it's just personal taste. So I'm very hesitant to agree with any sort of grand sweeping claim of, video games are too easy now and that sort of thing. And I don't think they're too easy, but I do think they're easier than games I grew up playing. So to play a game like Cuphead, it just reminded me of those, it just reminded me of a game like Mickey Mania, on the Sega where, yeah, you had to play it, you had to get good at it. And that seems to be a big stumbling block for a lot of people, and I've seen a lot of arguments crop up that, games should be made easier so that they're more inclusive, that sort of thing. So basically, even someone who is completely not a gamer, who has no interest in games and doesn't play them, if they pick it up, they'll be able to play the whole game. I disagree completely. Games are an interactive medium and an art form where you have to engage with the content. Like Dara O'Brien said with it, if a book would be very different if you get to chapter 3 of the book, and it goes, what are the themes of the book so far? And if you can't answer, boom, book shuts, go back to the start and read it again. It challenges the person playing. It's a very different medium than watching TV or reading a book or something like that. It's a medium I prefer, for the most part. They're all different though, they're all good, but it's just this idea that they should be watered down so that anyone who picks up a controller or mouse and keyboard or whatever can play it right off the bat. No, I think that's a completely terrible idea. Because the joy of video games is there's so many different ones out there of different levels. If you're a casual gamer, if you're not interested in the competitive, having to get good at the game type aspect, like with a game like Cuphead, you can play an easier game, you can pick an easier game and play that, and you can enjoy that. The idea that someone will go, I want to play Cuphead, but it's too hard, make it easier for me. If you did that with any other medium, or craft, or hobby, you would be laughed at, like with music. If you said, yeah, I want to play, say, Sweet Child of Mine by Guns N' Roses, or Surfing with the Alien by Joe Satriani, but it's too hard. They need to rewrite it so that I can feel good about myself for playing a simple version. No. It just, I don't know, there's a fundamental point there, and I think it's beyond the scope of this video really, but there is a fundamental point about people not wanting to have to try at it, and that's fine, because like I say, video games, they're fundamentally for entertainment, There's nothing wrong with wanting to just pick up a controller and play something and enjoy it, and that's as deep as it goes. That's great, no problems with that, fair play. But there's plenty of games out there like that. And with Cuphead, to me, it looks like it's had a massive amount of success based purely on the fact that it's hard. You know, and it's beautifully drawn and all that sort of stuff, which again I find weird because it reminds me, it just looks like a up-to-date version of the games I grew up playing. You know, it's a really good looking game. I think I might be overlooking a lot. I assume it's done by, like, you know, an independent group. It's not like a big title game. That would explain a lot of the hype I've seen it get, which I don't quite understand. So if anyone watching wants to fill me in on, you know, the background of it, or give me a link to more info on it, please do, because I haven't looked at it that deep. But yeah, the idea that games should be watered down so that you can include anyone that might ever remotely pick up a controller and try it, even people that have no interest in it like that, it seems mad. And the fact that Cuphead has got that much of a response based on its difficulty, it just shows me that people are crying out for a challenge with video games, you know, more games like that. Because, yeah, I think I made the point earlier, games are a lot easier these days than they were when I was growing up. You know, it makes me sound like an old man or something. But, yeah, and it's not a bad thing, but games really do encourage you to get to the end now. There's less of a challenge, there's less of a, you know, that element of that reward, you know, that feeling of you've done good at it, you know. It's why I like video games, you know, not purely for the reward. I like the fact that it's an engaging story that you have to engage with, you know, that sort of stuff. Gameplay's always good, and again, different types of games, different stuff, but yeah, basically I think the fact that you get one hard game like Cuphead come along, and it's not even that hard, you just have to play it enough times to get good at it, same as anything else. If you want to get good at a guitar, or a song on the guitar, play the damn song, and play it again until you get good at it. And if you're not good at it, the fault is not with the creator, it's with the individual. It's purely on them. The negative feeling they feel about not being able to play the whole thing, you know, Cuphead or a song, it's completely on the individual. And I think, yeah, I mentioned it earlier, there's a fundamental point I want to get at there, where people don't seem to like growth and that sort of thing. But yeah, different topic. But yeah, so just, I find it really odd with Cuphead, that it's getting that much, sparking that much of a debate. And a lot of it's due to that game's reviewer doing so badly at it. And, you know, that's a separate topic, you know, I'll go into that another time if people want to hear that. But yeah, just, I don't think games should be made easier deliberately to make them more accessible. I think that people that are struggling with it and want to be able to play them should play them and get better. Or they should play another video game. Both are completely valid options and neither one deserves criticism, you know? So yeah, that's my thoughts on it. Just thought I'd make a video on it saying so, because I've written a fair amount about it the past few days in various comments on videos. Yeah, that's my thoughts. Hope you enjoyed it, and let me know what you think. Cheers, catch you next video. Bye.